Some game trailers are good. Others are blockbusters that ratchet up millions of views. This time in the bonus round, we give you an insider's look at the creation of two of 2007's biggest trailers. What made Call of Duty 4's trailer one of the most downloaded in history?
It was so memorable, it was like people were holding their breath. I mean, everyone just went crazy.
And how did the campaign for Assassin's Creed help put it at the top of the charts?
Their PR effort was terrific to get the word out on a new IP, which is, you have to do.
Find out right now, only in the bonus round. Hey everybody, welcome back to the bonus round. I'm Jeff Keighley, and this time in the bonus round, we're talking about video game trailers, how they come together. And joining me is Tabitha Hayes from Activision, who's head of the Call of Duty business globally, all the marketing. And we also have Rob Troy from the Ant Farm, who worked on the Call of Duty 4 trailers last year with Tabitha. And Jim Botko from Hammer Creative that worked on the great Assassin's Creed campaign last year. So Jim, let's start with Assassin's Creed, because that was one of the top sort of earning trailers on game trailers last year. Really epic trailer, what you guys created with that. And also, I think one of the interesting things about Assassin's Creed is there was a twist at the beginning of the game that was never revealed in any of the trailers. That was on purpose, I assume?
Oh, totally, yeah. Ubisoft, it was, believe me, their idea. They said, we don't want to show any of that, just do the old thing. And there's a little touch of it in some of the trailers. You see a little electricity through some of the, logos and DNA was in the background. So it's really subtle. If you really pay attention, you notice something was going on there. But they wanted to play the mystery, and they knew it would come out at some point. And it was a very clear decision, obviously, not to show any of that.
Right.
And it was very easy to avoid it because most of the game is in the past. But it was a nice twist for the gamers. If you didn't pay attention and you didn't even know, and you started the game, you'd be like, oh my God, what's this? It's kind of a nice surprise in a way.
So a trailer like that, how much of the success and how downloaded it was, how much of that was due to, you think, the quality of the trailer versus sort of the quality of the game? And, Assassin's was not a known brand, so, I mean, it was really...
Well, it was really a tribute to ultimately the game, because the game did look beautiful. I mean, as much as we had a great time doing the trailer and everything, the trailer came out great and the TV spots came out great, it had to have the assets to start with. And Ubisoft did a remarkable job with the PR behind it and spreading the word about it and getting people to know that this cool game was coming. It was a big game with Jade Raymond out doing her thing, and their PR effort was terrific to get the word out on a new IP, which is you have to do. Call of Duty had a built-in audience. They still had to do a great job making sure everyone knew this was the best Call of Duty ever, and it's a new Call of Duty because of the modern thing. It's a little trickier with a new IP when you're watching like a BioShock or Assassin's Creed, which no one really knows exactly what that is. And as a tribute to Ubisoft's PR department and the beautifulness of the game. And we helped. We had our little part to do with it. But it was easy to make an epic trailer, an epic TV spot when you have those good things to play with.
So Rob, you make trailers. You didn't make the Assassin's trailer, what you saw what those guys did. I mean, why do you think that trailer worked?
Well, I mean, one of the great things about the Assassin's Creed trailer is that they had a pretty complex story actually to tell. And they did a hell of a job doing a great visual representation of telling a story. You look at the final trailer, the big launch trailer, and that is really an epic trailer. I mean, it's huge, and it's got so many different beautiful moments, and it goes so many different places, and yet you still have this crescendo, this rise to the end. And honestly, I mean, it's hard not to watch that and say, I gotta try that game. I gotta see what that's all about. It's just great visual storytelling.
Now for Call of Duty, we talked a little bit about that last segment. This, I think the E3 trailer was sort of the epic trailer that you guys came together with. How long did it take to make that one?
Oh boy.
Some work?
Well, it's hard to say because remember, you're actually starting with the game in November, December of the previous year. As far as looking at it, there are a lot of tools. IW is a killer developer. I mean, if you have a AAA developer like that, what you really have the ability to do is say, you know what, guys, and we've worked with them since day one, and it's awesome to be able to go to them and go, hey, we'd like this type of tool to be able to be put into the game, so that
you're actually going in and sort of capturing the gameplay and moving the camera around inside.
Yeah,
of the game.
we have very specific tools that are built within the engine, within the game engine, that allow us to do what we want to do. We changed a lot of those tools for Modern Warfare so that it had a different feel than the previous. So
it's not just you sitting there with a 360 gamepad, just kind of playing through the game.
No. I mean, there is that, but the vast majority of it is actually going in and there's
custom
just
shots.
reams. Oh yeah, I mean, you'll shoot a single shot. And I'm sure this happened with you guys before. I mean, you'll shoot a single shot maybe 25, 30 times, and you look at things that are in that trailer. things like the nuke shot, things like the guy, he's being whipped out of the back of the airplane. That's easily 25, 30 shots to get to that point. It's very much like shooting a movie. I mean, you have a whole series of dailies, and then at the end of it, you've got to go through and find out whether or not you've got the right one. And the advantage is that if you don't, it's very much a collaborative effort with the editors and with the producers. You go back and you get your continuity. You go back and reshoot it again. Sure, yeah, exactly.
You don't have to get the set and the crew, and you just do it, and you can 5 minutes later we'll have a new shot. I mean, it happened on Assassins, a Simpsons game. We were capturing little things all the time just to tweak it.
So Jim, when you look at Call of Duty and the success of that trailer last year, why do you think it worked so well?
Well, it was very exciting to
Right.
me. I mean, the one I remember best is the one where you did the reverse thing, where you went through the guy's eye and the reverse.
Reveal.
That's the reveal trailer. And that to me was the cool thing because it had a whole different idea behind it. And the execution of it was very cool. So, you know, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's exciting. I didn't quite understand it, frankly, but I didn't care because it was cool and it was exciting. And I was like, oh,
The mystery.
and Call of Duty was modern. It made it felt modern, which is, I guess, really what you wanted to get at, right? So the excitement was there, the newness of it was there, and it's a cool execution. I like showed our guys at Hammer. I was like, check this out, because it's something we hadn't really seen like that before. So that was a clever idea of how to do it, and you know, there's an emotion, excitement in it that you need to get across, and they did a good job with that. With the execution, the music was terrific, and it was mysterious too a little bit, which was good.
Yeah.
A little mystery in trailers is good, I think.
I think that was part of the reveal, right? It's just kind of give them a taste. Like, it's a
Yeah.
tease. And then for E3, we came back and we knew that we wanted to focus more on kind of the Russian campaign, a little bit of some gameplay that was unexpected. So for E3, for the Microsoft briefing, we actually showed this part, the level's called Scout Sniper, and it's like you're in stealth and you're in a ghillie suit, right? And it was so memorable. It was like people were holding their breath. I mean, everyone just went crazy after we showed that at the Microsoft briefing. In fact, I think that was the one thing that people actually got excited about. And that was part of, you know, again, synchronizing it with the video was like showing kind of new, better, different in the Russian piece and more of the story. We had a Russian voiceover and just, you know, unexpected. We really wanted to deliver unexpected for E3 in everything that we did. And so that was, you know, I think we were successful.
So when you're creating trailers for games like these, Tabitha, I mean, there are all these different trailer companies out there. I mean, I'm sure everyone would love to work on Call of Duty and all these businesses. I mean, are a lot of people coming to you saying, hey, we want to work on these games? I mean, how do you decide like, who you're going to work with?
Absolutely. Well, I've worked with Rob for
It
like
seems to work, I guess,
6
right?
years. So, yeah, I'm not.
Even though Jim tries to edge his way in there, right?
Not a bad. We actually worked with these guys on a project
Yeah,
for
a
3.
little bit,
Yep, for something different. But yeah, and so for me, it's kind of tried and true. You know, it's something that we just have a great relationship. So that's where we're at. But yeah, absolutely, we get approached, and you know, we're working with you know, DDB is our agency of record, and so building that relationship and making sure, you know, the Amp Farm and DDB and the brand team were all really working well together and synchronizing. So I think you kind of bring new people in as you go, but certainly for me, this really happy with what we did with Call of Duty 4.
Do you guys, I mean, do you have to go out and, you know, you hear about a great game and say, oh my God, I'd love to work on that game, and you go in and try and sell these game companies on a vision for a trailer?
We do sometimes. I mean, if I hear about a game, I'll call somebody up and say, hey, I want to work on that game, and I'm Hammer. If they don't know who we are, say, you know, give them a little pitch about Hammer.
Right.
Luckily, you know, I think all the big publishers seem to know who we are, but there's other little publishers popping up all the time that have games to talk about.
But I mean, these trailers are, I mean, they're not cheap to make. I mean, what does it cost on average to make a big, epic video game? Are we talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, or?
It's quite a bit. It's very much like building a theatrical trailer. I mean, it can run the gamut.
Right.
The question is
How
how
many
much
revisions are
time,
there?
how many revisions, how complex is the game, how complex is the story that you want to tell? Are you going to have CG involved? I mean, for instance, even in whilst all of the Call of Duty 4 stuff was gameplay based, there were 2 key shots in there that weren't on the NFL draft, and what we called the reveal trailer, that was shown during the NFL draft, and that was in and out of the eye. So again, that's just an additional
that was
cost.
sort of CG augmented on top
Yeah,
of the
because the
gameplay.
model in the game, while it looks really great, obviously was never meant to be shot this close.
Right.
So you know that whole idea of the push in and stuff.
Then
Again,
you've got, you know,
CG
music
adds
you've got to
cost.
lay on and
Well, that's the
stuff.
big thing.
You've
Right,
got
it's
music,
global
licensed
rights
music,
and,
all sorts of things that are going to add to the cost of things. So it literally runs the gamut. I mean, it could.
Well, sometimes you can have a music song where it's like, you know, sometimes you're paying $100,000 just to license the song.
Absolutely.
And just kind of to talk, you asked these guys if there's games that they want to work on. I mean, as a brand person, if I'm seeing the Call of Duty, the Assassins, you know, the BioShock, and the Halo trailer, I want to work with whoever made those.
Right.
You know, like it was best in class, certainly. And we saw that with the results from sales and the awards for marketing and everything, that those 4 products really delivered. I think great
Absolutely. And I mean, you
visuals.
see how much game trailers have improved when you look at the stuff last year compared to even 5-6 years ago. I mean, it's a completely new world. So.
Yeah, and you typically it's word of mouth. I mean, you find a lot of
People call
people
us all the time.
people will just call you and go, "You worked on such and such?" "Yes." "Okay, we want to talk to you about this." So that's often how it will happen.
Excellent. All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the future of video game trailers. I can see if I can convince these guys to cut a trailer based on the bonus round to see what you guys think of their work. That's coming up right here in the bonus round.
Next time in the bonus round, our chat about game trailers concludes. Could we ever see an interactive game trailer?
Hopefully, sooner rather than later, depending on how the technology works, we'll be able to debut something like that.
And stay tuned to see how Hammer and the Ant Farm would cut a trailer to promote the bonus round. That's next time right here on GameTrailers.com.
BonusRound.